everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Sarah.
Sarah, today we're going to talk about the Mutant Ninja Turtles show. And I brought Sarah on because the show just started, and she and I finally watched it today.
Yeah.
As of right now, this just aired yesterday, so 2 days ago when this gets posted. And so it's the new Ninja Turtle show on Nickelodeon. They just got the license, and just last year, I think. And this show's been in the works for a while, and kind of highly anticipated by a lot of fans, mostly because a lot of people were not real sure about it. Some people actually loathed it even before they saw it, and didn't really care for the character designs. Didn't like it. Some people didn't like the fact that it was a computer-generated show, a computer animation. I was in that camp. I wasn't real thrilled with that. And the clips I saw, I didn't care for.
Yeah.
So anyway, now it's out, and they showed. Now, we watched it online. We watched it on Nickelodeon's website, so I'm going to assume that they showed both of the, both parts of the first episode together, because that's how they had it online. So we're going to talk about the pilot, the first episode as a whole, the two-part first episode, and we're going to do this non-spoiler to the very best of our ability. So, right out the gate, Sarah, I was very pleasantly surprised by this show. It was not what I would have thought it was going to be, really, at all. And though I still am not real sure about it visually, the writing was much better than I expected.
Yeah, and I would say that I actually knew a lot less than you going into this. All I had seen of this show before were the action figures that appeared in stores that I shop at. And all I really knew about it was that Donatello was missing a tooth. So, other than that, I was surprised by a lot of things. Certain aspects of it I liked, and certain other aspects I just couldn't wrap my mind around. So
what couldn't you wrap your mind around?
At first, the animation style, just in general. I'm not a big fan of computer animated stuff, and
you didn't like the character models,
yeah,
right?
I didn't like the designs of the turtles themselves. Splinter looks awesome, but I mean, we're going to be focused on the Ninja Turtles here for the whole show, pretty much. So that's more of it, and they're the part I don't like. So I was able to get used to them over the course of the episode, but I'm still not a big fan of what they look like. The other thing that I really couldn't wrap my mind around it was being interrupted about every 5 minutes or so by crazy little squiggles on the screen, characters' eyes going funny, and just all the random Japanese stuff thrown in. I don't know. That just bugs me. If you want to do something Japanese anime, do it the whole way through, not just, oh, let's just do a normal cartoon and then suddenly it's anime-ish. I didn't like it. It totally took me out every time.
That's fair. So you're saying it's not that you couldn't deal with it if maybe it was just more of an anime style in general.
If I knew going into this that, oh, this is Ninja Turtles because they're originally sort of ninja from Japan, we're going to do it in an anime style,
well,
I could be on board. I could be on board with that.
I gotta say, I wouldn't want that.
No.
But I could kind of see it over anime-ifying other American properties, just because it's ninjas, it's Japanese already, it's a Japanese idea already.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could have dealt with that.
Once I got past the concept of, oh, it's anime, just because I'm not used to that sort of style, I could get behind it, and then I wouldn't be taken out every 5 minutes by just random things popping in that I don't expect.
I felt like it was there for pointless comedic effect, not because the idea of the Turtles is Japanese in the first place. That I hadn't even thought of that. That's a really good point. If I could have been led to believe that was there because it's ninjas and it's kind of Japan and anime is from Japan, but I didn't feel like that's why it was there.
The problem is that you have these normal acting turtles, and then all of a sudden for a good, 3-second clip, you've got them, the timing is all wonky, or the emotions are just spastic, or, I mean, it's just, it doesn't fit together.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It definitely took me out in places. After a while, I think I got used to it just because I was like, okay, this is going to be in this show. And again, the writing was better than I thought it was. The plotting was quite good, and the pacing was great. Yeah. And I can't believe I'm saying that. The pacing was great.
Yeah.
And here I was expecting to walk into something, because the clips I had seen, both of the clips I saw had that kind of silly, the tear hairs coming out of people's faces and that sort of
Yeah.
thing that I've seen in some animes.
Or the squiggling on
again,
people's foreheads.
I don't generally care for that. I'm not a big anime fan. It
Yeah.
works in some of those comedic animes in a way that it didn't work here. But I expected to see that all the way through. I didn't think the show would even kind of take itself seriously.
Yeah.
And what you ended up with was, I thought, actually, besides that, a decent blend of comedy and drama. It's a cartoon. I mean, it's definitely a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun to see the Ninja Turtles as a cartoon again and not just a straight-laced animated series like it was in 2003. And I didn't see the later stuff they did with that show where I think it did get goofier.
Yeah.
But for my money, this was like a modern version of the 80s show.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that about it. I'm sure some people aren't going to care for that. I'm sure some people...
It made me yearn for the 80s show, personally, but,
Yeah.
you know, I have that already, and I can watch that anytime, but...
It didn't break the fourth wall. It didn't try to just do that show again.
Sure, and it had a lot of good ideas. It had a lot of fresh ideas.
And I thought it
like
had
you
some
said,
very clever moments.
The writing was great.
Yeah, the writing was really good. I was really surprised by that. And I gotta say, I know some fans probably aren't going to like it because it wasn't like the 03 show, which I agree is really fantastic. And as far as being closer to... or at least the first couple of seasons I thought were fantastic. I didn't think that show got as good when it got into space, but I always liked the Turtles as more of a street-level thing anyway.
Yeah.
With space more intruding on it as opposed to the Turtles actually going there, if that makes sense. Interdimensional stuff, space stuff, that sort of thing. This so far is that. The space stuff intrudes on, at the very beginning, on the street-level stuff. And I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything by saying that because that was already in all the promotional stuff. The idea of the Krang as opposed to just Krang. We have this race of beings called the Krang who are all kind of a collective consciousness thing. By the way, I thought I was going to hate that. It was really funny.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was handled quite well, and unlike you, I didn't go into it knowing that was going to be what that was.
Okay, did that throw you off the beginning?
No, it really
Were you
didn't,
like,
actually.
oh crap,
like,
this is what they're doing with Krang?
No,
like it didn't bother you?
it didn't bother. Well, because
Very
it was
interesting.
introduced in such a way that it didn't occur to me that that's what they were doing until I had accepted the fact that that's what they were doing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I thought for those of us that weren't fans, or those of us that were fans of the old show and knew Krang in other contexts, I felt like it did a pretty good job easing us in that.
Yeah.
Where like they start talking to each other, and one will call the other one Krang, and then that one will call the other one Krang, and after a while you're like, oh, they're all calling each other Krang.
Yeah.
Okay. Like they did a really good job of putting that in there.
Yeah.
And they're a threatening species while also being really funny all at the same time. I love that kind of thing. And like they don't know they're funny.
Yeah.
You know, like
Absolutely.
it's a tongue-in-cheek show. There are serious characters that are very funny that don't know that they are. What did you think of Michelangelo in this show?
I thought he was fine. Yeah, he was very Michelangelo. I liked that he wasn't crazy dumbed down as far as... I mean, he was...
I thought he was a little bit.
Well,
a little bit.
He was a little bit dumbed down, but it wasn't so blatant. I mean, in a bad way, I mean.
Yeah.
Like...
Okay, all right.
He's the dumb clown. He's the one that, things go over his head, but it didn't bother me. And there have definitely been shows and times when that bothered me.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't care for his voice, and it grew on me like everything else in this show, in some places kind of like a fungus, because, again, aesthetically, I still don't care for it.
Yeah.
I can get past visual things when I'm liking the writing.
Yeah.
When I first started reading Rick Remender's Venom, for instance, the first issue of that, I was like, ooh, I don't care for this art. And after a while, I started to really like the art because it fit with the narrative style of the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like this show may have that a little bit, which I'm really surprised by. Again, I'm with you. I still don't love the character designs.
Yeah.
I still don't really see the point of Donatello not having a tooth and things like
Yeah.
that. Although it bugged me more in the promotional stuff and just seeing it in stills than it did in the show, because I didn't notice it all the time in the show.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It wasn't
they
a big
didn't
deal.
show their teeth all the time, but I don't know. It's still weird to me. I don't know.
It is weird.
But-
Well, one thing I thought was strange, I hope I'm not giving away too much by saying this. It's in the initial plot synopsis when you read about it. In this particular version, before the first episode, the turtles have never gone to the surface before. Hopefully that's not giving too much away. And I did find a couple of things a little bit odd that I thought that was a cool idea, that they've never been to the surface. They haven't even snuck up to the surface. And there were a couple of things that I thought were a little bit weird with that. I wondered how they had some of like the body damage they had, having never been to the surface before. Because Raphael has like this chip out of his shell and stuff like that. And again, Donatello's missing a tooth. I mean, they train all the time, so maybe it's just they fight all the time, and that's why.
But
that's possible, though, right?
That is possible. But the weird thing is about the tooth. This isn't really giving anything away, I don't figure. But when they were first mutated, you notice that Donatello, from the very beginning, doesn't have that tooth.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He's missing it when he's a turtle?
He's missing it when he's... Well, not... I mean, when he's a turtle, he doesn't
wouldn't have the teeth, right?
As he's mutating, you can see that he doesn't have it.
That's a little bit strange.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
Also, I wondered about all the things that people apparently throw away in the sewers, because they had a TV and a pinball machine. Or not a pinball machine. Like they had like a upright arcade machine.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of like, okay, we're stretching this a little bit, right? But here's what I love about the show. I love that the rest of it, that the show is actually working on a narrative level in such a way where I can actually ask those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
Like, I can actually question the logic of certain things because most of it's actually pretty logical.
Yeah.
My mind was blown that I actually kind of enjoyed the show. Now look, it's not genius. I'm not in love with it, but my expectations were so low that and maybe I was just in a Turtles mood because I was reading some of the new IDW series like moments before I watched the show. Maybe I was just in it because that stuff right now, by the way, it's freaking amazing. Yeah. And I will say that stuff right in Turtles number 14, oh my god, it's amazing. The stuff they're doing with Krang in that is fantastic. But I just watched that before I saw this. Maybe I was just in a big Turtles mood at the moment. Sure. But it didn't sell me 100%, but boy, I enjoyed it. I will watch the next episode. I thought it wasn't really a reveal, but I thought the final scene was great. What did you think of Donatello's voice being Robert Paulson from Raphael from the original show?
You mentioned that to me before we started watching it, and the thing is, I am so not a voice person. Yeah, unless the voice is crazy good or crazy bad, it's a voice, and so it didn't faze me at all. Just I had a hard time. I remember to listen for it a couple times, and I'm like, it's a voice to me.
I have to say, I was very unhappy with the fact that happened at first. And again, I don't mean to be a raging fanboy or anything. The issue is, for me, I was like, okay, if you're going to get back the original Raphael, why not just give him Raphael? Because I was afraid that watching Donatello through this, I was going to keep thinking, okay, that's not Raphael, that's Donatello. Like, I just thought it was going to intrude too much in the thing, and those of us that were kids when the 80s show was on are not so old now that we wouldn't necessarily watch this one. So throw us a bone, will you?
Like us.
Like us, throw us a bone.
Yeah.
Having said all that, it wasn't that big of a problem for me actually in content. And again, watching a couple token clips before the show, I was like, ooh, that's Raphael. I don't like that. In the actual show, it worked okay. The characterizations of the Turtles are all really good. What they're doing with Leonardo and his being kind of naive and just being all excited about the idea of being a leader, but not really understanding what that is. That's all working really well.
Yeah.
I won't give away what they're doing with Donatello exactly, but it's new and it's good.
Yeah. Well, and I do appreciate that he is actually still into tech stuff.
Yeah. I had heard... I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that that's something that's been downplayed a lot in other continuities, and I was really happy to see that come back.
I had heard that this show was going to really play up the fact that they're teenagers and do like a really teen angst kind of thing with it. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that at all, and I was very relieved not to see that. They did
seem younger,
but that was okay.
Which was fine.
It worked.
And but zero teen angst, in my opinion.
It felt pretty fresh to me. We're seeing stuff that we haven't really seen with Turtles before. It's not as good and as fresh as what they're doing with the IDW series, but it's still a new thing. And by the way, it doesn't waste any time. I would have to say that of every incarnation of Turtles I've ever seen, this is in a lot of ways. I don't want to say the most fast-paced, but it's getting us to places we expect to see it go way faster than I've ever seen before.
Yeah. And I was surprised at how many villains they introduced, or just put on screen at various points during that first episode, and
through the first two.
Yeah. So I mean, there are people, a lot of them, people that you expect to see, but still, nonetheless, they're all there.
And then there's others that are missing where you're kind of hoping we get to see them at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was really pleasantly surprised by all of that. Splinter's got some. I won't reveal it, but Splinter's got something in his backstory that's new, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. And again, the writing is so up to spec to me that I believe we'll see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I think that they're competent, that they subtly set that so that we see it. I will say there was one little thing that kind of bugged me. Well, and there's other little things that bug me. Most of it's visual. Again, I don't like the look of the show. Let me just say that. I don't care for it, but I got used to it. Did you notice this? Did it bug you that so much exposition in especially a couple of scenes came from Michelangelo being stupid?
Yeah.
There were several places where somebody where Donatello or Leonardo would be like, "Okay, Mikey, we've told you 1,000 times, but we'll tell you again. Yeah. Here's what," just so that they could tell the audience something that they couldn't naturally give the audience. Nice try, but I didn't like it. You know,
if it had happened maybe once, you could give it a pass, but if it keeps happening, that's just lazy.
They did it toward the beginning, and it was okay. But man, 10 minutes later was too soon to get exposition in that exact same kind of way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That sort of kind of bugged me. Anything else you wanted to talk about that we missed?
No. Not that I can say in a non-spoiler review.
Yeah, sure. We didn't mention the intro. What did you think of the intro?
I liked the nods to the 80s show, but rap's not my thing. So
it's not mine either. Having said that, it being in that style, I thought was fine.
Yeah.
But so like will you keep watching it, or is it kind of a pass for you?
I'm very torn. Probably my answer is no, but I personally, I just couldn't get past the visual style.
Wow, okay.
I couldn't get past that, and I probably could have gotten past just what it looks like, but I can't get past the throwing in random anime stuff.
Well, even like knowing that that's going to happen now.
It took me out every single time,
okay.
And it was almost work to get, for me personally, to get through that hour.
I'll tell you, I personally am intrigued enough that I will keep watching it. And I can't believe I'm saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, maybe part of it is just that my expectations were so low.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the 2003 show, and it's a very different kind of thing. But for what it is, I don't know. I think I'll give it a chance. Sure. I did like that it was really kid friendly. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really kid friendly.
Yeah. Now I will say I think I personally like the premise of this show better than the 2003 show. What I saw of it.
Really?
But
interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't watch that one, and I don't know if I'm going to watch this one. So.
All right. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see what everybody thinks about it. I actually haven't watched any reviews yet or anything since, and it's been out, a day now, mm-hmm. And I have no idea what other people are saying. So I have no idea which of our opinions is going to be more of the norm. So anyway, leave your comments. I'd love to see what people think. And I may be totally off base from everybody else. People might just start panning the show. I don't know. But I gotta say that my expectations were really low, and that might play into it a little bit.
And my expectations were turtles on screen,
But I was surprised that I found parts of it clever, and that the overarching plot was good.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, leave your comments. I'd love to see what people have to say. Sarah, thanks a lot for guesting on this one and talking about turtles, because turtles is one of Sarah's favorite things, and
Yeah.
I thought that and Vince loves turtles too. I had no idea when we'd get a chance, when Vince was going to watch it, and when we'd get a chance to review it. So I thought I would invite Sarah, and anyway, so thanks for doing that.
No problem.
And anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and if there's anything you'd like to see me and Vince or me and Sarah talking about in a future video, be sure to leave that in the comments as well. Thanks as always for watching. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Sarah.
See you next time.